In this video, we will be demonstrating the virtual wax tools in D3 Splint. You can use these tools to make large modifications and get general shape changes to your splint before doing more fine-scale refinement with sculpting and with the functional surface and articulator. You can download this blend file from the button to the left, or you can redesign a splint up to these steps following demo number 1. I'm going to hide the lower model, view our splint from above, and draw a wax curve by left-clicking along any object in the scene. Just like the other curve drawing tools that you've used previously, we can right-click to delete a point, left-click to insert a point, press G to grab, and modify the shape of the curve however we want. I'll press enter, and now we can add virtual wax to that curve. I'm just going to choose the default settings here. As long as you don't do any other operators, you can modify the parameters of the function and the virtual wax will be updated in the scene. This works on any object in the scene, whether it's selected or not. So for demonstration purposes, we can add different kinds of wax in different places. As you're adding virtual wax, all of the wax remains as one separate object until you use the Fuse Virtual Wax. And that will always fuse it to the splint with an actual use case. So first what I'll do is I'll use it to add a flat rim to the posterior. Of the splint on both sides. Okay, after that, we'll use the flare and increase the anterior width and the thickness to start creating the shape of our guidance ramp. Even go a little steeper than that. Now we're set up for a lot easier sculpting and refinement when we go to use our functional surface with the articulator. If instead of a full canine to canine ramp, I'm going to go ahead and fuse the posterior pads here. I'm going to place the cursor right here between the incisors, and we're going to add an anterior deprogrammer. While this technically doesn't follow the same rules as the virtual wax, it follows the same workflow where you add it and then fuse it. So this is a good time to show it. All of these options are adjustable. And one important tip here, I'm going to undo. If you unhide the lower jaw before you add your deprogrammer, you can evaluate its placement while still modifying this relatively smoothly. Okay, so that's about right. Now, if we had the model unhidden and we wanted to hide it to look at it while we adjust it, you'll notice that the model becomes unhidden again because Blender rewinds to the state right before you ran the operator and reruns it. So that includes the visibility state of each object. So you need to decide before or after whether you want this to be visible or not. Okay, once you're done with that, confuse the deprogrammer. All right, so I encourage you to play with these tools and get comfortable with them. And some of the things that you want to do will become more obvious after you've started sculpting. You'll figure out which features are more easily accomplished with manual sculpting tools and which are easier to get roughly in the right location using the virtual wax.